After 6 years together, my girlfriend tried to run away with my money and her affair partner. I made sure she lost everything instead. My name is Daniel, I'm 32, and up until a few months ago, I thought I was going to marry the love of my life. Her name is Sophie, 31. We were together for 6 years, lived together for 5, and shared just about everything: a home, finances, a dog named Charlie, and what I believed was a rock-solid relationship. We met at a mutual friend's housewarming party in 2018. She had this wild, magnetic energy, the kind of person who lights up a room effortlessly. I was quieter, more grounded. I work in IT, Sophie was in marketing, and together, we balanced each other out, or so I thought. The first real red flag appeared earlier this year. Around March, Sophie started picking fights over the smallest things. How I folded towels. How I didn't like going out with her friends as much. How I didn't understand her anymore. She also started working late more often. Client meetings, she said. At first, I believed her. She had a history of putting in extra hours, especially during product launches. But something felt different this time. Her phone was suddenly always face down. Passwords changed. She started hiding her Apple Watch. She got overly protective of her laptop. One night I walked past her in the kitchen, and I heard her quickly end a call. When I asked who it was, she said, "Just a friend." No eye contact. One Friday night in June, Sophie went out with her co-workers for a happy hour. She said she'd be home by 10. She showed up at 1:40 a.m., sloppy drunk. I helped her into bed, and as she passed out, her phone slipped out of her purse. It lit up, buzzing repeatedly with texts from someone named Casey Briefcase. Her passcode had recently changed, but I tried a few combinations, and it worked. She had reused the old PIN from her laptop, which I set up for her a year ago. What I found made my stomach turn. Hundreds of texts between her and Casey, a guy from her office, married, 2 kids. Their conversations weren't just flirty. They were vulgar. Intimate. Deeply disrespectful. They talked about me. About how clueless Dan would never see it coming. About how they'd slowly siphon off money from our joint savings so they could start fresh in California. About how she'd keep the house until he signs it over in the breakup. She even called me her financial safety net in one message. They were planning to leave me with nothing. She had already transferred $12,800 into a hidden account under her name. I checked immediately. I couldn't sleep that night. I just sat in the living room with Charlie, shaking. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I copied everything: texts, emails, even saved screenshots of travel plans they'd made for August. Plane tickets, Airbnb bookings, and a fake story about a girl's trip to cover her absence. Over the next few weeks, I put a plan into motion. Transferred my remaining funds from the joint account in a new personal account. Froze the joint account, citing suspicious activity. Met with a real estate attorney, who confirmed that the house was only in my name. Sophie never completed the paperwork to be added to the title. Installed security cameras inside and outside the house, just in case. Moved important documents, my birth certificate, passport, social security card, etc., into a safe deposit box. Told 2 of my closest friends everything and asked them to be ready on call. I even created a folder titled Insurance on a secure cloud server, with copies of everything in case things got legally messy. About 3 weeks later, Sophie casually dropped a bomb during dinner. "Sophie, hey, so I've been thinking, maybe we should take a break for a while. I need to figure myself out." I kept a straight face. "Me, yeah? You need to figure things out before or after flying to San Diego with Casey next month?" She froze mid-bite. Her face drained of all color. "Sophie, what are you talking about?" "Me, the texts. The bank transfers. The Airbnb. The messages about draining our accounts and taking the house. I know everything. For the first time in years, she was speechless. She went through every stage of panic, denial, anger, gaslighting, and finally, tears. Sophie, I was just confused. I never meant to hurt you. Casey doesn't even mean that much to me. It was just a phase. Me, you planned to rob me blind and disappear with a married man. I told her she had 48 hours to pack up and leave. I wouldn't press charges for the theft if she left peacefully. But if she tried to fight me for the house or money, I'd go public, to her family, her job, even Casey's wife. She tried to flip it. Sophie, you're threatening me? You can't just kick me out. I handed her a folder with the house deed, bank statements, and a printed email from her to Casey titled, The Escape Plan. Me, try me. She left 2 days later, crying as she packed. She took only clothes and a few personal items. I had changed all the locks by the time she pulled out of the driveway. Casey's wife found out after I anonymously sent her screenshots. She kicked him out, and from what I hear, filed for divorce. Sophie tried to fight for her share of the house. My lawyer shut it down in one letter. She moved back in with her parents. Tried texting me last month with some nonsense about closure. Blocked. I closed the old accounts, sold the furniture she picked, and renovated the house completely, new paint, new floors, new vibe. I started therapy. Took Charlie on a road trip up the Pacific Northwest. Slept better than I had in years. I gave this woman 6 years of my life. I would have married her. I would have had kids with her. And she was ready to discard me like some backup plan while she ran off with a man who didn't even love her. She thought I was weak. Quiet. Easy to manipulate. But quiet doesn't mean blind. And calm doesn't mean soft. I saved everything I worked for. And I saved myself. My girlfriend of 6 years was cheating with a married coworker. They planned to run away together using my money and assets. I discovered everything, documented the evidence, froze accounts, secured the house, and gave her 48 hours to leave, or face legal consequences. She lost everything. I got my life back.